Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Shama Sundara, Shama Sundara Hare. Jaya Radha Shama Sundara, Shama Sundara Hare. Jaya Radha Shama Sundara, Shama Sundara Hare. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pavarikacharya Asatosh Shabad. Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pavarikacharya Asatosh Shabad. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki. Prem Sigaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi ki, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki, Ganga Mai ki, Jamuna Mai ki, Vrindavanami ki, Mayapur Dhami ki, Jagannath Puri ki, Transcendental Book Distribution ki, Hari Nam Sankirtan ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees, and all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga.
Harmonium? Sure. You got it?
Actually, I can't play this one.
Why not?
I'm left-handed. It's okay, I'll play with that. I'll play with that.
More cartels?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Pralada lada daine. Pralada lada daine. Hiranyakashipu rakshaha. Shiladangana kalaye. Ito nashimo barato nashimo. Yato yato yami tato nashimo. Mahi nashimo ridaye nashimo. Narasingamadim jaranam prapade. Tavagara kamalavare naka Bhuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagarisha Hare Jaya Jagarisha Hare Jaya Jagarisha Hare. केशवरीरा नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे Nrsimha Dev Jaya Nrsimha Dev Jaya Nrsimha Dev Jaya Nrsimha Dev Jaya Pradhan Maharaj Jaya Pradhan Maharaj Jaya Pradhan Maharaj Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nita Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nita Gora Hari Bo. Nrsimha Bhagwan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Jai Premanande.
Everybody can move forward. We have quick announcements and
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna.
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. So we will now be announcing the results of the Krishna dress competition. To give away the prizes, we have a very special guest all the way from ISKCON Chowpatty, His Grace Vraj Bihari Prabhu. Can we please welcome him with 3 loud Hari Bols? Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! So if I could please have everyone's attention. We will be issuing participation certificates in the group chat, so you can print those out. For anyone that's not present, we will also update these results in the WhatsApp, and then they can come pick up the prizes. But for those who are here, please, if I could have your attention. For the Kanha group, which is 0 to 4 years, the winner is Krishna Satyanarayan. Hari Bol! Krishna Satyanarayan. 0 to 4 years, Kanha group. Okay. The runner-up is Krishiv Goyal. Krishiv Goyal. Hari Bol.
The runner-up first.
Is the runner-up?
You can come to the Prabhu.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. For Gopal category 5 to 8 years, the runner-up is Idaya Vashishta. Idaya Vashisht. Do we have Idaya amongst us right now? Okay, the winner is Madhav Kumar. Hari Bol. 5 to 8 years, Madhav Kumar. Hari Bol. For Govind, the category 9 and above, the runner-up is Hridaya Rothwar. Hridaya Rothwar. Haribol! And the winner for this category is Abhiram Gulati. Abhiram? Haribol! Haribol! Thank you to all the parents for putting in all the effort and bringing your kids for this competition and helping them participate. The rest of you who are not here will update the results. You can pick up your trophies. Hare Krishna.
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम रामा हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki, Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Bhagwan ki, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maiya ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudhiraye. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतिरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठकी. कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. नमो पङ्कजनाभाय नमो पङ्कजमालिने नमो पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रे. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम्. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे. योऽन्ता प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तान् सञ्जीवयत किल शक्तिधरा स्वदाम्ना. अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं कथाञ्चना स्मृते यस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत् विस्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्रीचैतन्या नमामि तम्। Hare Krishna. Very happy to be with all of you here, the shelter of Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Shri Gaur Nitai. And my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you, and especially to Madhupati Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. And very happy I was asked to speak on, because Sri Krishna Janmashtami happened a few days ago, so I was asked to speak on the glories of Lord Krishna. So today we'll speak Krishna Katha about Lord Sri Krishna. ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. When Srila Prabhupada started ISKCON in New York in 1966, devotees told him we should name this International Society for God Consciousness. Krishna, people may not be attracted to. Srila Prabhupada said, Krishna means all attractive. If people don't know about God, we will tell them Krishna is the name. So our USP, ISKCON's unique selling proposition, the unique thing that we are offering the world is Krishna. So why feel shy to glorify Krishna? So the Srimad Bhagavatam contains beautiful poetry, beautiful verses glorifying Lord Krishna. And today we will discuss some qualities of Krishna and how, if we connect with Krishna, we will experience deep, unending happiness. You may ask, but what about the problems in my life? Will they be dissolved? Well, the problems may remain, but something else will happen. When we turn to Krishna, we come closer to Krishna. And that solves a much bigger problem. So therefore, Krishna is, the name itself is so enchanting. I'll just tell you a recent incident that happened in India. This will give you an idea about what Krishna is, who Krishna is. In Kerala, which is one of the southern states in India, there was a television contest show, which was a singing contest. So children in the age group of 6 to 10, I think 8 to 12. In this age group, children were taking part in a singing competition. This was organized by a non-devotee organization. It was a television contest. So children took part, and there were 3 different contests organized by different television channels, different children singing. And interestingly, in all the 3 contests with different judges, different shows, different channels, different children, there was one child who sang a very famous Malayalam bhajan on Krishna, which is a local song. So there were 3 girls who sang in 3 different shows the same song. And one of them was a Muslim girl in hijab, all the small girls. And interestingly, in that song, the last 1 minute of the song is where the singer chants the name of Krishna in a very high pitch. Krishna, Krishna, like that. I can't sing, I can't imitate that. It's a beautiful song, I don't even know the meaning of the words, but it is glorifying Krishna, and the last 1 minute is Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. It's a very high pitched song. And in all the 3 contests organized by non-devotees, the participants are non-Hare Krishnas, nothing to do with ISKCON, and these children are simply chanting Krishna's name. And because children have this purity, this innocence, something astonishing happened. All the 3 children, in the last 1 minute, as they were chanting Krishna's names very loudly, very devotionally, their voices choked. And tears started gushing out of their eyes. It's there on YouTube also, I'm sure, this video. Don't check it now. After the class, you can go home and see. And even the judges were crying. The audience was crying. Because that singing was Namabhav chanting, it was intense chanting, calling out to Krishna's holy names. Therefore, and then nobody had an explanation to offer, they were simply emotional. But we know what had happened. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu describes Krishna, the definition of Krishna is given in our scriptures. Just like you define everything in modern world, even Krishna is defined. The definition of Krishna is Akhila Rasamrita Murti. Means Krishna is an embodiment of all rasa. What is rasa? Anybody knows what is the meaning of rasa? Mellow. Mellow is a very traditional English word. Modern times, rasa is translated as juice or taste. Every activity, every relationship, everything in this world carries some taste, some juice. And we are attracted to perform some activity or enter into some relationship because of the mellow, because of the taste it offers. Like for example, I see many of you are Indians. Indians love mangoes. So if a mango is kept and you look at the mango, are you attracted to the mango because of the color of the mango, the size of the mango, the shape, the form, the fragrance? Most people are attracted to the rasa, the taste of the mango. But just like a mango has a rasa, everything has a rasa in this world and it attracts us. But the problem is none of those tastes are enduring. But Krishna is called as the embodiment of all rasas. That rasa, the taste keeps increasing over time. Like for example, I've seen children, they chew bubble gum, chewing gum. I don't know what you call that in America. They put that gum in the mouth and they start chewing it. And there's a lot of rasa, a lot of juice, a lot of taste in it. But after some time what happens? The taste fades away. But the kids keep chewing it. There is no taste, but you keep chewing it. And then you get bored. And then what do? You make a bubble out of it. And you make a bigger bubble. And then you make a bigger bubble. And then splash, it just bursts. And then it gets stuck on your face. And then you start removing all of it. You seen children do that? So the rasa of this world is compared to bubble gum. When we enter into a new relationship, when we get excited by something, it gives us a taste. But then after some time, there is no taste. And it gets boring. It's a drag. And then, it finally, we try to create some bubbles out of it. We imagine it would be like this, it would be like that. But eventually what happens? It all gets stuck in our consciousness. And we try to remove it. That's how entangling material rasa is. But Krishna rasa is Akhila Rasamrita Murti. Krishna is a personification of unlimited taste and unlimited mellow. One who gets connected to Krishna, his taste keeps increasing over time. It doesn't reduce. And therefore you will see that every Janmashtami, every Krishna Katha, we discuss the same Krishna stories. Do you know any Bollywood movie or Hollywood movie with the same storyline, year after year, getting released and people thronging to the theaters to watch it? No, every movie needs to be having a new storyline. But in Krishna Katha, it is the same stories that we are talking about since last 5,000 years. In ISKCON, it's the same Krishna holy name which we are chanting for the last 50-55 years. What is special about Krishna? Because Krishna rasa keeps increasing over time. When you read a newspaper, you need fresh news. You can't read old, stale news. But in Krishna Katha, same story. How can the same pastime of Krishna give more juice, more rasa with each passing year? This proves that Krishna is different. Not that, okay, this year we are going to speak about Krishna killing Kamsa, Krishna entering Mathura. So the speaker is not going to say, well, ladies and gentlemen, Prabhus and Matajis, Krishna, every year we talk about Krishna entering Mathura. I think it's getting a little boring. So we're going to make Krishna enter Mathura this year little different. He's going to come in a helicopter. Krishna is going to come the same way to Mathura, the same Akrura, getting Krishna, same story. But there is something different because Krishna is, what is the definition? Please repeat after me. Akhila Rasamrita Murti. Akhila means all. Rasamrita means embodiment of rasa. Murti means personification. So when you connect with Krishna, the soul finds complete satisfaction. That is why we see the devotees chant the same. That's why in the Bhagavatam we find a beautiful verse in the beginning, right in the beginning of Bhagavatam. The sages at Naimisharanya, they ask many beautiful questions to Sutta Goswami. And after these questions, Sutta Goswami, when he begins to answer, he says, Munaya sadhu prashtoham bhavadbir loka mangalam yat krita krishna samprashno yenatma suprasidati. He says, sadhu, excellent questions you have asked. Munaya sadhu prashtoham, because your questions are bhavadbir loka mangalam. Your questions will bring about auspiciousness in the whole world. Why? Because yat krita Krishna samprashno, because your questions are connected with Krishna. Yenatma suprasidati, the soul will be completely satisfied when we discuss and hear and ask about Krishna. So in this world we see, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, people are constantly asking questions and looking for answers. When the birds early in the morning they rise and they start asking questions, where is food, where is food? Children go to school, there is questions, there is answers. The media is hounding after the politicians, asking questions, getting answers. Everywhere, you go to the stock market, you go to work in the business, morning to evening, everybody is asking questions, looking for answers. But the soul is not satisfied. There is a vacuum. And this was best exemplified by the author of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vyasadeva. After compiling all the Vedas, writing Mahabharata, Puranas, he sat despondent. He was dissatisfied. And at that time his spiritual master Narad Muni came there and asked him, why are you so sad? And Vyasadeva said, I don't know. Maybe, my dear Guru Maharaj, maybe I am not happy because Kimva Bhagavata Dharma Naprayena Nirupita Priya Paramahamsanam Tadeva Achyuta Priya. Oh, I have not adequately glorified Krishna. Maybe because of that. Priya Paramahamsanam, because glorification of Krishna is very dear to the devotees. Tadeva Achyuta Priya. Even Krishna becomes very happy. Maybe because I haven't glorified Krishna, I am not so happy. Is that so? And Narad Muni smiles. Narad Muni says, Bhavatanu prayam yasho bhagavato malam yenaiva saunatu sheta manneta darshanam khilam. Oh, my dear disciple, you have worked so hard, you have written so many books, but you haven't glorified Krishna spotlessly, purely. And because of that, all that you have written according to me is khilam, manneta darshanam khilam. Khilam means waste. I mean, Vyasadeva is being told that whatever you have written, all of that is a waste. I mean, it's a big blow for an author. Like I have written a few books, and if somebody tells me, Prabhu, I'm trying to read your book, I feel so flattered. And if somebody says your book is a waste, my ego would be so hurt. And I've written just one ordinary book, not one, I've written a few books, but they're all ordinary. Vyasadeva is the author of the Vedic literatures. You get all the knowledge in that. And his guru is telling him all of that is waste because you haven't glorified Krishna, and that's why it's a waste and you're also not happy. He's not shocked, he's not hurt. He's like, he feels awakened. He says, wow, is that so? And then Narad Muni tells him the power of Krishna Katha. He says, Naya dvachas chitra padam harer yasho jagat pavitram pragranita karichit tadvayasam tirtamushanti manasa nayatra hamsa niramantu shikshaya. If we don't glorify Krishna, because glorification of Krishna is jagat pavitram pragranita karichit, it purifies the whole universe. And if you don't glorify Krishna, it becomes a holy place of pilgrimage. A holy place of pilgrimage for what? Tadvayasam tirtam. It's a holy place of pilgrimage for crows. What an analogy he is giving. What is the place of pilgrimage for crows? Where do the crows go? Garbage can. So he says, all the glorification which is not centered on Krishna, it is Vayasam Tirtam. It is a holy place for crows. Ushanti Manasa Nayatra Hamsa Niramantu Shikshaya. Hamsa, the swan-like devotees don't go there. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that swans go to beautiful lakes and crows go to garbage. And then Srila Prabhupada writes a beautiful statement in the purport saying that swans and crows, swans like devotees do not go to the place where crows gather for conferences and meetings. So, and all of us, we have a crow inside and we also have a swan inside. Some percentage of us, like maybe 80% crow, 20% swan. But when we come for classes like this, slowly the percentage of crow reduces and the percentage of swan increases. And Srimad Bhagavatam has been written so that our swan-like nature comes out and we get attracted to Krishna completely. That's the whole idea about Krishna consciousness. And then Narad Muni finally declares that if you glorify Krishna purely, what will happen? Now, this is a prophetic shloka in the Bhagavatam which predicts the arrival of Srila Prabhupada. Yadvag visargo janataga viplavo yasmin pratishlokam abadya yatyapi namananantasya yashon kitaniyat shunvanti gayanti grananti sadhava. Narad Muni is telling his disciple that if we glorify Krishna, even if it is imperfectly composed, even if there are grammatical mistakes, even if the glorification of Krishna is not technically correct, it will bring about viplavo. Viplavo means a revolution in human society. Tadva visargo janataga viplavo yasmin pratishlokam abadya yatyapi. Even if that composition is imperfect. Why? It will bring about a revolution because namanananta sayashon kitaniyat. Because glorification of Krishna is extremely powerful. Anyone who hears Shunvanti, Gayanti, Grananti, Sadhava, saintly people will relish it and it will bring about a revolution. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that I am writing this Bhagavatam in an English language. English is a foreign language for me. But I am confident that because my attempt is sincere, this will bring about a revolution in human society. Prabhupada wrote this few years before going to America. And that's exactly what happened. Isn't it? Because Srila Prabhupada was sincerely glorifying Krishna. So if somebody is sincerely glorifying Krishna, magic happens. Miracles happen. When Srila Prabhupada came to New York, he had a really rich Bengali accent. In fact, Srila Prabhupada's, in his, I don't know how many of you have any Bengalis here? Oh, 1, 2, no? 3, okay. So 4 Bengalis, 5, wow. 6 Bengalis. So I love Bengali language. I read Chaitanya Charitamrita, memorize Chaitanya Charitamrita verses because it is in Bengali. And I don't know Bengali, I am from South India. But when Bengalis speak Bengali, it appears as if they kept rasgulla in their mouth. It's so sweet, Bengali. Yet, Bengali language, a lot of jokes are cut. And it's fun because Prabhupada had that Bengali accent. You know, Bengalis, they say, like one Bengali gentleman invited our devotees to his house and he said, Prabhu, आप हमारे घर में, so some of you Hindi, I'll translate it in English later. He said, हमारे घर में भोजन के लिए आओ भोजन. So we thought he's going to feed us nice prasad. We went. There was no prasad. He only gave us kartal and mridang. He said, bhojan, bhojan. Then we understood he meant bhajan. So Bengali accent can be a little tricky. And Srila Prabhupada, the 70-year-old man, goes to New York and he's speaking Krishna Katha. And he's glorifying Lord Chaitanya. And he says, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to shave all of you. And those hippies had long hair and long beard. And they said, what? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to shave all of us. So then Srila Prabhupada saw them and he understood what they are thinking. And Srila Prabhupada laughed and he said, yes, he has come to shave and save both. Mahaprabhu has come to save you. So his accent was difficult. So when he spoke about Sanatana Goswami meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the audience were young boys. Wally, who went on to become Umapati Swami later on. There was Steve Guarino, who went on to become Satswarup Maharaj. There was Kirtanananda Swami later on. At that time, they were all young boys. Keith, Chuck, Steve, Wally. Chuck went on to become Achyutananda Swami. There was Bruce, there was Greg, Brahmananda, Gargamuni. And they had no idea about Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada is saying, so Sanatan Goswami, so now Prabhupada's pronunciation of Sanatan, each one of them, when they were writing notes in the class, they wrote a different name for Sanatan. Steve wrote Suntan. Wally wrote Sonoton. Everybody wrote a different name. But as Srila Prabhupada predicted, there was a revolution. Because Srila Prabhupada carried Krishna, love for Krishna in his heart. It's more powerful than COVID. If you sneeze and if you have COVID or if you are infected with tuberculosis and somebody eats from that plate, he gets infected, right? When somebody loves Krishna and is glorifying Krishna, is carrying that germ of Krishna Prem. And if you get connected with that person, those people who got connected with Srila Prabhupada, because Srila Prabhupada glorified Krishna, he carried Krishna in his heart. His words, his behavior, his speech, his service, his caring, everything touched people's hearts. And they also became carriers of Krishna Prem. But this is the power of Krishna. Especially when the carrier of Krishna is a sincere devotee who simply wants to glorify Krishna. And this is what Srila Prabhupada did. So therefore, we need to grab onto this. And Krishna is so attractive. So Srila Prabhupada would often tell devotees, you have this one human life. Perfect your life by connecting with Krishna. Our Swayam Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj, I think he's coming here this week. He's a dear friend of ours. And he was telling us, he came to Chowpatty last month, and he was telling us an interesting story. That he was distributing books in Paris, Srila Prabhupada's books in Paris. And there, one Muslim boy met him. And Maharaj showed him Bhagavad Gita. So when this Muslim boy saw the Gita, and Keshav Maharaj was showing him, and suddenly he saw the photograph of Krishna. And this boy got stunned. He said, who is this? I want to know more about him. So Keshav Maharaj said, this is Krishna. You know Krishna? And so this boy is like, I've seen him. Ever since I've seen him, my mind is totally captivated. I can't forget him. Tell me more about him. So Keshav Maharaj said, where have you seen him? He said, well, I had been to India last year. And I went to one small place in India. And there I saw Govinda. So Keshav Maharaj said, Govinda, which temple is this? Where did you go? So this boy said, well, you wouldn't know. It's a remote place in India. So Keshav Maharaj said, no, you can try me. I may know. Tell me. So then this boy said, I went to a place called Jaipur. So this Muslim boy had inadvertently landed himself in Jaipur's Radha Govinda temple. He has come from Paris. And there he said, I went in the morning and I saw thousands of people thronging to the temple. And seeing this deity of Govinda, I have been ever since captivated. I have been just thinking about this. And now you're showing me something similar and you're telling me he's Krishna, he's Govinda. And then when I heard this pastime, I was so fascinated. I remembered this beautiful verse from the Rupa Goswami's composition. He says, Smeram bangi traya parichitam sachi vistirna drishthim vamsinesto darakishalayam ujvalam chandrakena govindakhyam hari tanumiya keshitirtopakanthe ma prekshishthastava sakhe yadi bandhu sange strirange. In this beautiful poetry, one gopi is telling another gopi in a very, it's called Bhajastuti. She is saying, my dear friend, don't go to the bank of Yamuna at Keshi Ghat. One gopi is telling her friend, don't go to the bank of Yamuna at Keshi Ghat because there is a very mischievous boy there who is standing in a threefold bending form. Smera bangi taya parichitam sachi vistirna drishti. He is casting sidelong glances and it is so powerful. And he is playing the flute. Vamsi nesto darakishalayam ujvalam chandrakena. And he is exceedingly beautiful like the full moon. And his name is Govindakhyam Hari Tanumiya Keshitirtopakanthe. He is standing at the banks of Keshi Ghat. His name is Govinda. Ma prekshishthas. Don't go there, Sakhe. Bandhu sange strirangi. If you are attached to your family, friends, wealth, don't go there to the bank of Keshi Ghat. Basically she is saying go there. But it's a very poetic way of saying. So this boy had the same effect what this gopi is telling her friend because he saw Govinda. I had the good fortune of meeting one boy called Alex in Moscow. This was in 2011. And I asked him, how did you become a devotee? And when he told me his story, I was flabbergasted. He said, he and his 3 friends, they just decided to go to Goa, India, for sense gratification, 100% pure enjoyment. They had nothing to do with spiritual life. So they came to Goa, India. After enjoying, they decided to go to Bombay, Mumbai. So they said, let's go through the Konkan belt. So they were walking, they were going by, they were just hitchhiking, enjoying, going by taxi, buses, like that. So they landed up in some village. He says, I went to some village, I don't know where. And I heard this is a temple of Krishna. And I saw the deity of Krishna. I said, which village was it? What temple was it? He said, I don't know, I don't even remember. I just know it was a Krishna temple. And when I saw this deity of Krishna, I was so attracted. And the priest there gave me a bowl of khichdi. And that taste is still lingering in my consciousness. And after that I came back to Moscow, constantly thinking of that temple, that deity and that prasad. And then one day one of my office colleagues gave me Bhagavad Gita. And I saw the same Krishna. And I wanted to know more. I went online. I came to know there is a ISKCON temple nearby. I went to the ISKCON temple and joined. And after a few days, he joined the temple. This is the power of Krishna. You may say, well, is this how attractive Krishna is? Yes, and Krishna is attractive not just to human beings, not just to Muslims and Russians and Indians or Hindus. He is also, believe it or not, very attractive to animals. His Holiness Sri Rajanananda Swami Maharaj, who is in New Mayapur, he has written a book called Animals in Krishna Consciousness. How animals have got attracted to Krishna. Like, I myself seen one dog in our Govardhaniko village. Every day for Mangalarti is there. Of course, he doesn't enter the temple hall, he knows the etiquette. He just comes running and he just wags his tail at anyone who enters the temple hall and is standing there. Amazing. And so devotees have named the dog as Mangal because he comes for Mangalarti every day. And Vrindavan, this is what is happening. In Vrindavan, do you know, Krishna, there are so many people, so many way animals reciprocate with Krishna. Some of the animals like deer, for example, they're not able to sing glories of Krishna. How do they show their love for Krishna? The Gopi Geet, 10th canto describes, the gopis are talking about the glories of deer. Danyasma mudagatayo piharinyayeta yanandanandanamupata vichitra vesham akarnya venuranitam saha Krishna sara pujam dadurvirichitam pranayavaloke. One gopi is telling another gopi, look at the deer. They are coming with their wives and all of them are simply looking at Krishna with so much affection in their eyes. They are giving love to Krishna simply by their eyes. And Krishna accepts their love. That's it. That's how they communicate love. So even the deer love Krishna in Vrindavan. Okay, deer is okay still. The bumblebees, bzzz, they are hovering around Krishna all the time. See, the bumblebee is called as, in Bhagavatam, Brahmar, and also known as Ali. Not Muhammad Ali. There's one devotee I met, his name is Ali Krishnadas. Ali is bee. So the bee is a great devotee of Krishna who comes, who is hovering around Krishna and always singing. Bzzz. Imagine you have a bumblebee around you constantly. Bzzz. Would you get irritated or would you be excited? Irritated. Yeah, get out. But Krishna loves the bees. Krishna doesn't drive them away. It's amazing. In fact, the bees are said to be more fortunate than all the Gopas and Gopis. Because when Krishna goes to herd the cows in the morning, the Gopis are feeling intense separation. Gopis are saying, oh, Krishna is gone. When will Krishna come back? Oh, the sun is still in the sky. Oh, sun, when will you set? When will Krishna come back from the forest of Vrindavan? They are feeling so much separation from Krishna. And in the night time when Krishna is with the gopis, Krishna's boyfriends, they are like, oh Krishna, when will we see you again? When will the night end and the sun rise so that we can go to the forest with you? And they're looking at the eastern direction, waiting for the sun to rise. Come on, sun, rise fast. Why are you slow? Is there a traffic jam? Why are you not rising? We want to be with Krishna. So they're hankering to be with Krishna in the night time. And the gopis are hankering to be with Krishna in the daytime. But the bumblebees, they are with Krishna morning, evening, night, all the time. Even when Krishna is taking bath, the bees are hovering around him and Krishna is not irritated. Krishna is happy. That's how attractive the bees are for Krishna. And that's how the bees are attracted to Krishna. See, in this world, we get irritated by people who are hanging around us all the time. When I was a new bhakta, I was just coming new to KC, one preacher, one senior devotee would always call me home, and then I would receive his call. He would say, come to temple, and he would show so much interest in me, and I would like, wow, I would get all the attention. And then I joined the temple. After I joined the temple, he never gave me attention. So he was running behind me, but when I joined the ashram, I had to run behind him. Give me some time, and he had no time. So we don't like people hounding us. But the bees are always with Krishna. And this is how attractive Krishna is. The gopis are saying, Gopya kima charadayam kushalam smavenu damodara darasudam api gopikanam bhungte swayam edavashishta rasam radhanyo brishyat prasuna kabara mumuhur viniksha. Gopis are saying that the most fortunate companion of Krishna is the flute, which gets to taste the nectar of Krishna's lips. And they're glorifying the flute, saying that how fortunate the parents of this flute must be, the bamboo trees, that they have given birth and that their descendant has become the most intimate associate of Krishna. So like this, the Bhagavatam is completely filled with glorification of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. So this is our Krishna, most attractive, loving, beautiful, and our goal on Janmashtami day is to hear about Krishna in such a way that we fix our minds on Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said, if we don't hear about Krishna, if we don't fix our minds on Krishna, then all the elaborate temple rituals, temple programs we do will eventually become a burden. And he said it will be unsustainable. If we want to serve Krishna whole life, the most important service we need to do is we need to hear about Krishna. So therefore, the Bhagavatam says that Krishna is the sun who will remove all the darkness. Krishne sadamo pagate dharma jnana bihi saha kalo nashtadrishamesha puranarkho dhunodita. After Krishna left this world, there was darkness of ignorance, but then the sun of Bhagavatam rose, and that dispelled all the darkness. So we need to hear about Krishna, not just the philosophy, but also the pastimes. Krishna performs many charming pastimes in Vrindavan. Like Krishna, one of the most amazing pastimes he performs is, he presents himself as a very ordinary child, performing childlike sweet pastimes. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he performs these pastimes to attract the heart of devotees. In fact, Krishna's pastimes are so nectarine, so wonderful, that devotees, they forget everything. Parikshit Maharaj is hearing about Krishna, is hearing Bhagavatam for 3.5 days. And when Sukadeva Goswami comes to 10th canto, Parikshit Maharaj says, please tell me more. Etad anyecha sarvam me. Even answer those questions which I have not asked you about Krishna, because I really want to hear about Krishna. And don't think I'm fasting. I'm not fasting. Naishati dusaha kshunmam tektodam api badate pibantam tam mukamboja chutam hari katamrutam. I am not affected by hunger and thirst because I am drinking the nectar of Krishna Katha. So the Bhagavatam explains beautifully that Krishna, by performing these beautiful childlike pastimes, he presents many contradictions. And generally in this world, contradictions bewilder us. But when we see Krishna's contradictions, it brings great joy to devotees. Krishna is filled with many contradictions. And when we hear these contradictions, we are amazed. And we celebrate those contradictions. Like one of the most amazing contradictions of Krishna is that Krishna lifted the Govardhan mountain with the small finger of his left hand. You know that pastime? And that same Krishna, when the fruit seller came to Vrindavan and she wanted to give fruits to Krishna, baby Krishna is running with grains in his palms, and those grains are slipping from his fingers. He is not even able to hold those grains properly. And that same Krishna is holding the Govardhan mountain. This is an amazing contradiction. So devotees, when they hear this contradiction, they are not bewildered. They are not like, hey, what is this? I want to resolve this contradiction, only then I'll get sleep at night. No. If you can resolve this contradiction, great. If you don't resolve this contradiction, also great. And why there are so many contradictions in Krishna? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, because Krishna's one quality answers all the contradictions of Krishna. And that one quality of Krishna is, he is Bhakta Vatsala. He loves his devotees. And because he loves his devotees so much, he is willing to display all these contradictions. So he gives an analogy. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that when the bumblebee enters the lotus flower, there is so much nectar in the flower. And the bumblebee is busy tasting the nectar. And the bumblebee forgets. The bumblebee has so much strength that it can penetrate hard wood. Daru bheda nipunopi shadangrir nishkriya bhavati pankaja koshe. But the lotus petals, when they close at night, the bumblebee is not able to penetrate that soft lotus petals. You may think, how can that happen? That's because the bee is busy in the nectar that the lotus flower has to offer. So, our acharyas explain that Krishna is like that bumblebee and devotee's heart is like the lotus flower. So Krishna enters the heart of his devotee and he finds so much nectar there. And he is like, wow, this is so amazing, that he forgets his godhood, just like the bumblebee forgets its power to penetrate the soft petals of a lotus flower. Krishna relishes the love that his devotees offer him, that he forgets his godhood. And thus he displays amazing contradictions. What is the first contradiction we discussed? Krishna's lifted Govardhan, but his fingers can't carry grains. Second is, Krishna is known as Lakshmi Pati. Not just one, thousands of Lakshmis are serving him. What does that mean? That means he is the wealthiest of all. Lakshmi Pati means husband of goddess of fortune, and thousands of Lakshmis are his servants. And the same Krishna is stealing butter in Vrindavan. Who steals? One who doesn't have anything. He's stealing butter in Vrindavan. And it's a glory of Krishna. Do you know anyone in this material world who is glorified for being a thief? Like when we have one of the richest men in the world, I don't want to take his name and create a political problem. So let's say one of the richest men, and he has his annual general body meeting where the shareholders are all sitting, and he's being introduced. Are they going to introduce him like, he is a very, very wealthy man, he started his business empire, blah, blah, blah. And when he was a young boy, he used to steal pens and pencils in school. Will any rich man, businessman be glorified for being a thief? That's not considered as something noble. But Krishna is glorified for being a makhan chor. Vraje prasiddham navanita choram gopangananam chadukula choram aneka janmarjita papa choram chauragraganyam purusham namami. He is known all over Vrindavan as Vraje prasiddham navanita choram. He is also known as the one who steals the distress of all the gopas. Aneka janmarjita papa choram. He steals all the sinful reactions of millions of lifetimes. He is chor number one. Choragraganyam. This is Krishna. This is the second quality, contradiction of Krishna. The third contradiction is, Krishna is so powerful that Bhagavatam says, death is afraid of Krishna. Who is afraid? Time. Death is afraid of Krishna. Gajendra says, Yakaschanesho balinonta ragat prachanda vegat abhidhavato brisham bhitam prapannam pratipati yadbhayan mrityu pradavat aranam tamimahi. It said that time is like a huge serpent which is chasing us. And we are running away from this time, serpent. We are panting, running, and the serpent is chasing us. And as soon as you come in front of Radha, Sham Sundar, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, we stand in front of them. The serpent stops chasing and turns around. Because you have gone to whom? You have gone to Krishna. And then Krishna chases the serpent. And the serpent runs away in fear of Krishna. Time is afraid of Krishna. And Krishna is afraid of whom? His mother, who is a simple gopi. Gopya dade tvai krita gasidhama dhavad yate dashashru kalilanjana samramaksham vaktram niniya bhaya bhavanaya stitasya samam vimohayati bhir apiyad bibheti. Krishna is crying, and the black ointment, mascara, is getting wet because of the tears. And he is afraid of his mother who is running behind him, trying to catch him because he's broken the pot of butter. What an amazing, beautiful contradiction. So this is the third contradiction. The fourth is, Krishna kills the demons, but is defeated by his friends. After Krishna killed Chanura and Mushtika in that assembly, in that wrestling arena, all his friends were in the stadium watching. They all jumped, they came running, and they embraced Krishna. And they said, this is our Krishna. And then Krishna said, okay, let us have a wrestling match. And he had a wrestling match, and to rub salt on the wounds of Kamsa, who was watching it. To add insult to Kamsa's injury, Krishna got defeated by his friends. He had just killed Chanura and Mushtika, the two most powerful wrestlers. This is Krishna. After Krishna once told the boys, after Krishna killed Keshi, one of the boys, Sridhama, said, "Hey Krishna, are you our Krishna? You killed this demon. I think you are not our friend. Somebody else has come here. Wait, let us test him." So they all gathered around Krishna, and then Sridhama said, "Okay, wrestle with me." And then they had a wrestling match, intense, and Krishna got defeated. And when Krishna got defeated, Sridhama declared, no, he's a normal, he's our Krishna only. The fact that I can defeat him, he is normal. He is our Krishna. This is the fourth contradiction. And another fifth contradiction is Krishna steals the clothes of the gopis. There is a beautiful pastime in the bank of river Yamuna. But same Krishna, he provided unlimited sari to Draupadi. Agre kuruna mata pandavanam dushyasanena ruta vastra kesha Krishna tadakroshadananyanatha Govinda damodara madhaveti Govinda damodara madhaveti Govinda damodara madhaveti Govinda damodara madhaveti Govinda damodara madhaveti. Agre Kuruna Mata Pandavan, in the assembly of Kurus and Pandavas, Dushasana grabbed the hair of Draupadi and dragged her to that assembly. And when he was pulling her sari, she cried out, Ananyanatha, O my Lord Krishna, Govinda, Damodara, and Krishna provided unlimited cloth to her. So like this, there are beautiful contradictions in Krishna. And there's one more, most amazing contradiction of Krishna is Mugdha. Krishna is totally bewildered and confused in Vrindavan. He's crying. And the same Krishna is also known as Sarvagya. He knows everything. Krishna knows everything. He knows what every living entity is thinking. He knows what you have prayed 15 years ago. He's kept all the record of all the living entities. But still in Vrindavan, the same Sarvagya, all-knowing Lord is Mugdha. When his father says, Krishna, get my slippers, Vibhartit kvachit agyapta pita konmana padukam bhaukshepam chakurute swanam cha pritimavahan. He gets those slippers. And then his father says, okay, Krishna, can I lift that seat? Krishna tries to lift. Kvachit agyapta pita konmana pahu, I can't do it. And then what does he do? Bhaukshepam. He starts patting his arms as if I'm going to try hard now, next time, and I'm going to lift it. Swanam cha pritimavan, and all the gopis are laughing seeing Krishna's attempt. So like this. And another contradiction of Krishna is Krishna killed Putana. But he gave her the position of a nurse, a mother in the spiritual world. I mean, how can you kill someone and give liberation also? This is an amazing contradiction. When Krishna was leaving this world, Jara shot that arrow on his toe and Krishna loudly called out to his mother. Like in India also we see when child gets hit, immediately, Mummy, he'll call out. So Krishna called out to his Matha when he was hit by that arrow. And immediately 3 women appeared, Devaki, Yashoda and Putana. So a woman who came to kill Krishna with poison in her breast. So baby Krishna sucked her milk, the poison, and liberated her and gave her the position. Aho bakiyam stanakala kutam jigam samapaya dapya sadhavi lebe gatinda triuchitam tatonyam kamva dayalum sharanam vrajema. Who is more merciful than Krishna? He didn't accept the intention of Putana, he accepted her action of wanting to give him milk. But he gave her the position of Dhatri. Who is more merciful than Krishna? So this is how Krishna is. Even in the battlefield of Kurukshetra it is described, Arjuna was shooting arrows at the enemy and those enemies were dying. As they were dying, they were looking at Krishna's beautiful face. Then what happened to them? Tateva channe naraloka vira yadahave Krishna mukharavindam netre pivanto nayanabhiramam Parthastraputa Padamapurasya. So as they were dying, first the arrow of Arjuna hit them and they got purified. A devotee connected with them. And then looking at Krishna Mukharavindam, drinking the beauty of Krishna's nectar from their eyes, Padamapurasya, they got the highest abode. This is another beautiful contradiction. The last contradiction, 8th one, there is many more. In fact, we're discussing with our friends that maybe one day we can make 108 contradictions of Krishna. But the 8th one is, Krishna is bound by his mother Yashoda to the wooden grinding mortar. And while he is bound, he liberates Nalakuver and Manigriv, who are bound to a tree. Isn't it amazing? And after they are liberated, after Nalakuver and Manigriv are liberated and they offer prayers to Krishna and they leave, Krishna is still bound. And he is laughing. He is saying, well, I liberated both of them, but I am still bound. I am waiting for my mother to come and release me. And then Krishna is saying, but I love my mother's chastisement more than all the prayers these two demigods offered. This is how Krishna is sweet. Sweetness personified. So the first contradiction we discussed was, Krishna lifted the Govardhan, but his fingers couldn't hold grains. What is the second one? He is Lakshmipati, but he steals butter. What is the third? Death is afraid of him, but he is afraid of Mother Yashoda. Fourth, he kills demons, but is defeated by his boyfriends. Fifth, he steals clothes, but gave unlimited cloth to Draupadi. Sixth, he is bewildered, Mugdha, but is also Sarvagya. Seventh, he killed Putana, but gave her liberation. And eighth, he is Nalkuver and Manigrivi, liberated them, but he was himself bound. Another contradiction, if you want, you could elaborate later, some other time, is he is the absolute truth, but he speaks lies. That is 9th. So like that, there are many contradictions. So therefore, we can glorify Krishna. There is no end to how much we can glorify. Srila Prabhupada, he would get life, energy when Krishna was glorified. In 1976, New Vrindavan, Srila Prabhupada was very sick. And he was giving darshan. Devotees looked at him and he was just sitting quietly. And then Prabhupada's servant said, now you should leave. Let Srila Prabhupada take rest. So as they were leaving, Srila Prabhupada opened his eyes and he saw, devotees are leaving. Srila Prabhupada said, any questions? Devotees said, questions? So they all sat. And then Prabhupada said, get Bhagavatam. And then Prabhupada started speaking from Bhagavatam. So Srila Prabhupada was very sick and the devotees had been told to leave. And after Prabhupada asked for Bhagavatam, Prabhupada sat for the next 2 hours discussing Bhagavatam with these devotees. This is Srila Prabhupada's situation when he was sick. That is how much he was absorbed in glorifying Krishna. There is one beautiful pastime of Srila Prabhupada where Srila Prabhupada was invited by Bhagwan Maharaj to come to Paris to give a lecture in the Olympia Theatre. And Srila Prabhupada to go out of his way. He had to cancel many programs. He went to Paris and only 35 to 40 people attended in that big theatre. They had planned to get 5,000 people. But only 30 people attended the program and he was very disappointed. Not Prabhupada, Bhagwan Prabhu, and he apologized to Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada said, no, it's okay. I will glorify Krishna to the sun, to the stars, to the sky, to the moon, to in all directions. I will loudly proclaim that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is most wonderful. Because in the end I want a certificate from Krishna saying that here was my sincere devotee who tried to serve me and who tried to glorify me. I don't want a certificate from this pack of donkeys. Srila Prabhupada was very dismissive about the materialistic scientists and people. So this is Srila Prabhupada's beautiful, beautiful mood. He came to give us Krishna. And when devotees asked him, Srila Prabhupada, how can you reciprocate? Srila Prabhupada said, accept this gift I have come to give you and share this gift with others. So on the Janmashtami occasion, we can all pray and aspire that we have got this invaluable gift of Krishna consciousness. Let us share this with as many people as we can and tell them about beautiful Krishna, wonderful Krishna, and make our lives perfect and help others also to come closer to Krishna. And when we do that, our lives will become very, very auspicious. When Krishna comes as a breath of fresh air into our lives. If we are attentive, if we listen to the holy names, and whatever Srila Prabhupada has predicted and has promised us in the pages of Bhagavatam about Krishna, everything will make sense. It all depends on how attentive we are and how humble and submissive we are. So, welcome to the Krishna Yoga path, where instead of meditating on a sound Om or doing some Buddhist kind of meditation, we meditate on Krishna, the person. And just like, I'll end with this one important statement, just like, in those who have studied mathematics in school, we have, let x is equal to y. And then we start developing the whole sum, the mathematic sum, and then in the end we prove that x is equal to y. You've done that? Similarly, we begin in Bhakti Yoga with an assumption. The foundation of Bhakti Yoga is to accept God as a person, this person as a form, and this form reciprocates with you, reciprocates with me. And this person has a name, Krishna. We begin with this, and then we follow the process of chanting, hearing, serving devotees, making friendships with devotees, taking part enthusiastically in all the festivals. And then in the end we will see, yes, this is a reality. Krishna is a person, he reciprocates. So welcome to this very scientific process of Krishna consciousness, where there is direct perception, direct experience of Krishna. And let us make our lives auspicious and bring joy to everybody's life by accepting the path of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai, Nandana Sham Sundar ki jai, Bolo Mor Mukut Bamsi Wale ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Anyone has questions?
Good questions. Wow. Haribol. Haribol.
You mentioned a very important point about how Krishna gave the position of Dhatri. But usually in the assembly of devotees, we are being made aware about the offenses towards we are made aware.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Prabhuji, thank you so much for the wonderful class, Prabhu. So you were mentioning about a very important point, that how Krishna forgave as well as gave the position of Dhatri to Putana. I was wondering that, however, in the assembly of devotees, we are constantly made aware of the offenses towards chanting of the holy name, which is non-different than Krishna himself. So how do we put two together? And also the incident of either Brahma or Indra displeasing Krishna, but either there is forgiveness for them, or is that taken as an offense and they have been given appropriate understanding?
I hear two questions here. First is regarding devotees, people offending Krishna. See, first let us say like this. Putana, see, if somebody's intention is bad and action is good, if intention is bad, action is good, Krishna takes what? Action. Like Putana is the best example. If somebody's action is bad but intention is very good, like Bhishma, Krishna accepts intention. If both intention and action is bad, Then what does Krishna do? Krishna forgives as soon as a person seeks forgiveness. Like Kaliya. Kaliya is the best example. Krishna forgave as soon as he sought forgiveness. Indra tried to kill the Brajvasis who are most dear to Krishna. Krishna forgave him. Just imagine the CEO of a company, he is organized a party in his house and he doesn't call his manager. And the manager gets very angry and he puts a bomb. He throws a bomb into the house of the CEO and he tries to kill everyone, or he puts a fire and then the fire is extinguished. And then after the party, what is the first thing the CEO would do? The litigation, court and case is all later. First he will fire him. But Krishna, when Indra tried to kill the Brajavasis, and because he sought forgiveness, Krishna, okay, continue. So Krishna is very forgiving. So that is one aspect. Krishna is, but it's not unconditional forgiveness, in the sense we have to go through the reactions for what we have done. Otherwise, but that is like a father punishing the child. It's for the good of the child. See, I remember as a young boy, we were playing cricket in Mumbai, and I broke the window of the neighbor. And the lady came out shouting, and I knew she was going to really smack me hard. And during those days, getting beaten by elders was very common in the villages, in the places where I was growing up. So I was scared, and at that very moment, my mom came out, and she held me, and she started hitting me hard. And I was like, why is she beating me? And then when I went home, my mother hugged me, she fed me, and then I realized, although I was a young boy, wow, my mother was intelligent. She bet me because she had control. So if that other lady had got me before my mother, she would have meted out inordinate punishment. Because it was my mom, she knew how to punish me and also love me. So Krishna is like that. When Krishna punishes a devotee for so-called offenses, it's in control of Krishna. See, a non-devotee may get what he deserves, but a devotee gets what he needs to come closer to Krishna. That's one thing. Regarding offenses, well, it's like this. You're going on a highway, and in the hilly section, you see, even in normal roads I see in America, a lot of road signs. Children ahead, school ahead, drive slow. So when you're going on a hilly mountainous region, there will be many boards saying, go slow, speed breakers ahead, children, watch out for children. So when you see those notices, what do? Do you stop? One of the notices, dangerous curve ahead. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to see that notice and become aware and then drive slow. It's not that, oh, there is a notice here saying dangerous curve, I can't go ahead. You can't panic about it. And you can't go to the other extreme saying that, I don't care for all of these notices, I just want to drive rashly. No. You see that, you become aware and you continue driving. Similarly in Bhakti, we read about these offenses. Oh, okay, these are important. Okay, but we continue going towards Krishna. Don't ignore them and don't panic. That's the way offenses are given. Sometimes some devotees out of their enthusiasm may speak so much, that's their rasa, that's the way they say, but we take it in a positive spirit. Is that okay? Hare Krishna.
Could you speak about your role as an author and
Goal as a?
Role as an author and...
Author, okay, I've written a few books. My first book was called Are You Connected, published by Penguin, which is one of the world's leading publications. It is about 25 different principles that we could follow to get connected to ourselves. Second book, oh thank you, Surabhi. Second book I wrote was called Cricket in a Monastery. It was about life of 3 monks who love cricket and who also have their own other struggles in their monastic life. It's a fiction. And then, so there are many life lessons in that also. Cricket and monk story. Third book I wrote is this called Mind Your Mind, published by Hachette, one of the top 5 publishers in India. This is about 3 important principles to deal with our mind, called awareness, acceptance and aspiration. So this book was in the top 10 non-fiction list in India in the year 2020 and 2019. So this is 2020 and 2021. And the fourth book I wrote is, the first book I wrote was Journey of Self-Discovery, co-authored with Premnidhi Prabhu. And then after this book, after Mind Your Mind, I wrote a book called Lessons from the Road, which was published this year, 2023, March, 2023 March, it was released. So this is a book about all my travels all over the world and how many spiritual lessons I learned by observing the life of different people, and how we can learn spiritual lessons from Bollywood, cricket, politicians, all of that. So there's a whole chapter on MS Dhoni and Virat Kohli, one chapter on Abdul Kalam, one chapter on Rajnikant, and Bhagavatam, connection of Bhagavatam, what principles these people teach us, either by their success or by their failure. So like that. So like this, these are the few books I have written. And the next book which I am writing presently is called The Heart Space, how we can live in our inner world peacefully by connecting to our spiritual emotions. What is emotion and what is spiritual emotion and how do we nourish them? That is my next book, which hopefully by next year I'll be able to complete. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak about my books. Hari Bol.
Yes, Prabhu, very wonderful class. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam to everyone. But my question is that you mentioned that devotee and non-devotee, but to Krishna, everyone is devotee, right? So how do you distinguish this?
How do you distinguish between what?
Devotee and non-devotee, but to Krishna is the father of all.
Correct.
So in that context,
so Krishna is waiting. See, everyone is a child of Krishna. So the Upanishad explains, Samane vrikshe purusho nimagno. In the branch of a tree, there are two birds. One bird is busy eating the fruits, sometimes sweet fruit, sometimes bitter fruit. He is enjoying and is suffering. The other bird is watching silently, waiting for this bird to turn to him. Only then this bird would be happy. So we are all like that first bird. Some of us, once we become devotees, we turn to Krishna, but some of us are not devotee, we are eating the bitter fruit and the sweet fruits and suffering and enjoying, but Krishna is waiting. So for both devotee and non-devotees, Krishna is waiting. So I see it like this, I explain it in a very simple way. Imagine you're sitting like this, on your left side is a gigantic 10-foot tall monster who is constantly shouting at you. And you are just obeying what he says. And on your right side is a charming, most beautiful, attractive Krishna who speaks very softly, who is just waiting for you to turn to him. But you don't look here at all. You are just looking at this monster and obeying him and doing everything he says. These Bhagavatam classes, these Krishna Katha, temple festivals are all meant for turning our head away from this monster to Krishna. So Krishna is waiting. So for Krishna, everybody is a child of Krishna, and Krishna is waiting. But those who turn to Krishna, then Krishna gives all facilities. And those who don't turn to Krishna, Krishna is waiting, and Krishna is so kind. Even if you go to an animal species, wherever you go, Krishna is accompanying you. In some religions, they say, you are eternally condemned. You will be in hell forever if you don't surrender to God. But Krishna doesn't do that. Even if you don't turn to Krishna, Krishna doesn't leave you. Krishna will be with you, waiting for you to turn to him. In all species, in all walks of life. So that's how merciful Krishna is. He's waiting, waiting, waiting. And his love is beckoning us to turn to him.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Prabhu, just 1 minute I'll take. Regarding the Paramatma and when the soul leaves his body, the soul goes with his subtle body, right? And then changing the body and get into some other mother soul. So that time the super soul, the same super soul, when the body is changing, the body soul is changing to the body. So that time same super soul is going to the
Yes.
with that body.
Yes.
Oh, with
Super
that-
soul is always accompanying the soul. Yes.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, although Radharani and Krishna are same, but Radharani is considered more merciful than Krishna. Can you please say a few words like Radharani is more merciful than Krishna?
Simple. My mother and my father. Think of my mother and father. I was scared of my father, but not of my mother. And sometimes even if I did mischief, I knew my mother would go and tell my dad, forgive him. And my father would say, okay. Right? Feminine energy is more nurturing, more caring, more compassionate. Even in this world, right? So when we were 3 boys, so mischievous, we would break windows, break television sets. We would create a ruckus at home. And my father would be scared of. But mother, we would run to mother, Mommy, please forgive. And then she would, okay, bad reports, something, report card is bad or anything wrong, we knew whom to go to. And mom would tell father, okay, be kind. And there's one lecture of Prabhupada, he's in Jew, Bombay, 1974, you can hear it, it's there on the Veda base. I mean, that's a red box of Prabhupada's lectures there I heard. Prabhupada is talking about Radharani being more merciful than Krishna. And he's talking to all the people there and he says, so, you are all married? Your better half is here? So if I make a proposal and if she likes it and she tells you, accept it, will you not accept it? Then everybody laughs. And Prabhupada says, yes. So when Radharani gives recommendation, Krishna can't refuse. जय श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर भगवान की जय, जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया की जय, श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय. So that's the whole idea, Mataji.
Prabhuji, we are full of faults.
Yes.
Every day we make.
So therefore we need to go to Radharani, and she will tell Krishna, please forgive this soul. Radharani is our only hope. In Vrindavan, in the Radha Kund, you see in this place, Sankri Khor. There is a jackal, when jackal was being burnt by the children, and Lalita Sakhi picked up that jackal and brought to Radharani. Radharani saved that jackal. Similarly, Radharani sent spiritual master, who is Lalita Sakhi's representative, Sarup Damodar Goswami representative. So through a spiritual master we are saved, we get shelter of Radharani who offers us to Krishna. That's why we go through Lakshmi Narayan, Rukmini Dwarkadish, Radha Krishna, Sita Ram. For the feminine energy of the Lord is more compassionate. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, where are you? I can't
Sorry.
see. Hare
Very well. So, in the interest of forgiveness, and as like going back to the first question, there's obviously offenses committed toward Krishna, but we as devotees, obviously we're humans, and we can try our best, but we're not always going to be so forgiving. So could you maybe speak maybe if a devotee offends another devotee, how can we move forward?
If a devotee, so there are two aspects here. One is seeking forgiveness and second is forgiving others. What are you talking about? Both. Yeah. We need to know one thing. If I am expecting to be forgiven, then I also need to forgive. Right? When others offend us, see, we generally, when we do something wrong and people castigate us, we immediately say, but my intention was good. We judge ourselves by our intention and we judge others by their action. Oh, he did bad. That time you don't see his intention. But ourselves we see by our intention. Ideally we should see others by their intention and ours by action. So when people offend me, I need, what is that famous French philosopher, René Descartes, I don't know how to pronounce his name, forgive me. He said, when someone offends me, I take my soul so high that the offense cannot reach me. So we need to connect to a higher principle. See, there are two realities. One reality is what we see and perceive from. The second reality is the way Krishna sees, the pure devotees see. So when events happen to us in spiritual organizations, in communities where we get offended, Krishna has arranged this, orchestrated this so that we can see the higher reality. We can see the reality from Krishna's vision. And that happens only when we practice forgiveness. And in a community, I want to assure you, if you are part of ISKCON community where many Indians are there, then you need to also learn the principle of understanding that people do seek forgiveness. But in India, one of the cultural factors in India is, in India they give a lot of indirect apology. They don't generally come and say, Hare Krishna Prabhu, I'm extremely sorry. That doesn't mean you should also offer indirect apology. You should directly apologize if you committed an offense. But you will see that when somebody offends you, and if you express your anger and hurt, and that person may apparently may not apologize, but there is an indirect apology because there is a shift in the behavior. I've seen that happen because I've been in the movement for the last 26 years, and I've seen very sincere devotees' inability to say sorry, but they are sincere and they do apologize in their own way. So we need to be mature and see that also. But having said all of this, if there is a case of abuse, seek justice. Justice is important because justice will help you heal the past wounds. Forgiveness is something for the future. Forgiveness helps you to internally resolve and move forward with gratitude, but justice will help you heal your past wounds. So if it's a case of serious abuse, don't use forgiveness as an excuse to hide your weaknesses, because then you are perpetrating injustice more, and the offender may continue to do more offenses and more abuses. So if there is a case of serious abuse, report it immediately and seek justice. So that's the way we see it. But small offenses, we need to forgive. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. We'll stop here, bro. Once again, my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you. It has been great. I was here last year and I don't know how time flew. Last year, Radhashtami class I gave here. And this time on Janmashtami, a few days after Janmashtami, I am here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Vraj Bihari Prabhu ki jai. Today we don't have any sponsor. Anyone like to sponsor, please let us know. Today is auspicious Annada Ekadasi. Okay, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj's disciples are sponsoring as they cook the prasadam today's feast. So, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Today is Ekadasi, so tomorrow Parna time is 6:33 to 10:46 a.m. And the next biggest festival we're waiting is for Radhashtami, which is on September 22nd, Friday. We'll be celebrating here at this temple 7 to 9 p.m., 6:30 p.m. onwards. So please join. We'll post more details of the program. Please honor Krishna Prasadam, Ekadasi Prasadam on the other side.
His Holiness Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki jai. So my deep gratitude to Maharaj for who he is. He has been a great support. We always speak about devotee care, but he's exemplifying devotee care in amazing ways. Sometimes in name of devotee care, we mollycoddle devotees and we pamper them. But Maharaj is so amazing. He engages people in practical seva, and the kind of preaching he has done in all over the world, of course, but in Delhi, North, and book distribution, and the number of projects and temples, all with devotee care of the foundation. Like one of our devotees, Sri Guru Charan Prabhu, he was instrumental in building the NVCC temple in Pune. And such a big project. Maharaj came for inauguration. Maharaj looks at him and says, now you should take rest for some days. You've done a lot of hard work, very caring. And then next day Maharaj goes back to Delhi and after 3 days calls him and says, so Sri Guru Charan Prabhu, are you taking rest? I mean, he's such a big sannyasi guru with thousands of things to do. But he remembers this devotee, calls him and says, take rest. So I saw, wow, he is not only into projects, he is also into very personal care. He meets you once, he remembers you. And he's amazing, amazing devotee care. I've never seen someone like this. Completely involved in projects and completely involved in people. How much he must be pleasing Srila Prabhupada is beyond my comprehension. So, and book distribution is unbelievable. The way he has inspired thousands of devotees. And I see Rukmini Krishna Prabhu, Amog Leela Prabhu, Mohan Roop Prabhu, all the devotees in Delhi. My respect for Maharaj, my love for Maharaj. Because good fruits come from good trees. So through his disciples, their etiquette, their love for morning program, their participation in Sankirtan, shows the substance that Maharaj is made of. And the way he has influenced the Prime Minister of India, and one of the most biggest celebrated spiritual gurus in India right now is Bhageshwar Dham. And he comes and he offers full obeisances to Gopal Krishna Maharaj, takes guidance from him. So Maharaj is influencing many, many people. And I just pray on his appearance day that he blesses me personally, and I also pray for his good health, although I am unqualified. I pray Maharaj has many, many more years of wonderful service to Srila Prabhupada, and he continues to give all of us shelter. I remember there's one more point about Maharaj which we cannot discuss in a public forum in detail, but how much compassionate he is on devotees who have serious spiritual difficulties. I've seen some devotees go through serious problems, and Maharaj has so amazingly intervened and pulled them out of such serious problems, immediately arranging situations. There's one devotee who did some very big mistake, and temple had thrown him out. Maharaj caught him. Maharaj said, you go to any temple in the world you want to go, tell me. I will give a letter of recommendation. But leave this temple community. And then Maharaj gave a beautiful letter, encouraged him to get settled in another ISKCON temple, ensured that he is safe. And Maharaj's mood was, his disciple told me, Maharaj said, this person has served Prabhupada's mission. Even if he has served for one day, we should do whatever it takes to ensure that he is safe and he is happy. So his forgiveness, his compassion, his projects, his care for people, basically his love for Prabhupada is overwhelming and such a big inspiration for all of us. He has given us the true north, the standard that we need to imbibe. And I am very, very grateful to Maharaj for giving us that standard that we should emulate and we should follow. His Holiness Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki jai. His legal name is Khanna, no? Khanna. I remember I met his sister once and she told me all this. Thank you, Prabhu, for giving me a chance to speak a few words on Maharaj.
You can honor Krishna Prasad on the other side, Ekadasi.